on this intro and he wants to play it. So.
I feel the need, the need, the speed.
For speed to the danger zone. Into the danger zone. To the danger zone.
Welcome to Movie Talk with D&D. I'm Dwaine.
I had no idea that was a duet between Kenny Loggins and Dan.
Damn right, baby.
Darn
I can't
right,
help myself.
And I'm
I
David.
can't help myself. I'm sorry.
And we're just two best friends talking about movies. We always have a guest host for Movie Talk with D&D. And our friend Dan Foley, someone who loves tonight's movie, is with us today.
Yes. Oh,
There he
tonight,
is.
once again, the triple D's unite.
Yes. Movie Talk with D&D is extra large tonight with Dan, David, and Dwaine. Tonight's movie is the 1986 hit Top Gun with Tom Cruise and a plethora of others.
Ooh.
You know what's funny, David
Nice.
and Dan? Our last movie talk with D&D was also a Tom Cruise movie, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. And amazingly, he had many of the same expressions in this movie as he did in Top Gun.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what was his name from Ben Stiller with the model movie there? He had the one expression all the time.
Oh, Zoolander. Yeah.
Zoolander, there we go, yeah. He had Magnum.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool going back and watching a movie from Tom Cruise's early days and recognizing Tom Cruise expressions, you know? Because when you first watched Tom Cruise back in 1986, you know, you may not have recognized him. So,
But then you just saw
Anyway.
them again and again and again and again, and they never changed.
that's right.
They just never changed.
If you have not seen this movie, we are going to talk about it.
Or else this podcast is about to end.
Yeah, you might want to stop and watch it first. It's free on Netflix. Go watch it.
All right, if you're going to have these like little voice things, I need to have one that has me saying, "That's stupid. That's
You know,
stupid. That's
I used to
stupid."
have that one.
He's got that one.
I used
I know
to.
you do,
can't
but
find
I don't.
it. Yes. So in preparation for tonight's show, I have taken off all my clothes and am oiled up. Ready?
Nice.
No, I'm just kidding.
That is so sexy.
I am going shirtless and posing on the beach every time I walk in front of the camera.
Oh God,
Flex
I don't know
every
if
muscle.
anybody got the better pose than Iceman's partner there.
Oh, I know.
He just stood there and gave the little sideways and
Oh, yeah.
holy crap.
Wait, you think that was a
Yeah.
pose? I thought it was just the way he was getting ready to play volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was getting ready to set the ball. Yes. Yes.
Gotcha.
So-
Gotcha.
Not the volleyball though. No. Okay.
This movie has more testosterone than a salamander.
That's how they fueled the
And if you-
planes. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Listen,
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. Salamanders have the most testosterone of any species. It's
that is
incredible.
100% correct.
And this movie, though, has more than a salamander.
I got to tell you though, I've said it before and I will say it again. I still say that this movie is the greatest date movie of all time.
It's got to be.
I
It's got
still
to
say it is. It is this was, I mean, how many Tom Cruise movies were like this? This and Days of Thunder were exactly the same, except instead of jets, there were cars.
Yep.
You know?
Right.
You've got the male competition, you got guys without their shirts on, but
Right.
you also had that incredibly romantic, you know, growing, budding relationship, you know, and it's such a great date movie. It really is.
Too bad I didn't
when I
take any girls on a date movie to it.
well
I was
had
stupid. I missed it. I didn't see it back in 1986. I missed my opportunity. Yeah, Dan's putting a
no, that was a
loser
good
on
move. No, that was a good move. Really, yeah, that was a great move.
this. All right, Dan, did you see it when you were 18,
Yes,
19
of
years
course
old?
I did. Good Lord, I don't know how many girls I took to see this movie.
How about you, David? Did you see it in the theaters?
No, I did not see it in the theaters. I failed. This was when I was just between high
Loser
school and
also.
college. I am also a loser. And this was my first year of college. I ended up seeing it as soon as it came out on VHS at a friend's, at a friend's house, and it was okay, and it with his fake surround sound. So when I watched it last night, I had it on the full surround sound and got the more full effect from it.
You got the full effect.
The problem with a movie like this is that you can't really appreciate it unless you see it on a big screen, like Twister or Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man. Unless you can see those just gigantic swings through New York, you just don't get the same feel for it. You really don't.
Right. This really, Top Gun is a chick flick disguised as a guy movie. You know, because
I think it's the other way around. It's a guy movie disguised with a chick flick in it.
Well, then you know it's just both. It could just be whatever it wants. It's a chameleon, but I mean,
does it taste great or taste great together?
That's right. I mean, it had me. Okay, I went into this movie thinking this is going to be a corny chick flick, right? But when the movie starts and you've got the cool music and the jets and the slow motion running on deck and all that stuff, I was like, all right, okay, jets flying, this is going to be good. It's going to be good. You know?
Do you know how many people passed on this movie?
But really? I do not.
Either as actors or as musicians because they didn't want to contribute to it?
I do not.
Matthew Modine was up for this movie, and he turned it down.
For political reasons. He did not like the
who else? There were all kinds of musicians. Bryan Adams was asked to contribute to it, and he said no because he didn't want any of his music to be associated with propagating war.
Yeah, two of the big names that passed also were REO Speedwagon and Toto back at the time.
Toto, there was another one because they didn't think anybody cared.
I'm kind of glad Toto passed up on that.
Yeah, this is definitely not a Toto kind of movie.
Well, here's the list of actors. Here's the list of actors that were actually up for the part, and you can hold your laughter for the end. You know how you hold your applause for the last kid to get their trophy? Hold your laughter for the end. Okay. It's Emilio Estevez, Scott Baio.
Yeah.
What? Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
Matthew.
Yes, Michael J. Fox was up.
Tom Hanks, Patrick Swayze, Sean Penn, John Cusack, and Nicolas Cage, among others.
Wow. See, I could see Nicolas Cage do that movie.
No.
No, I could see.
No.
I could see him doing that kind of movie.
No.
I could maybe see.
No way.
But not even Matthew Modine. I wouldn't even want to see Matthew Modine in this. I mean, this.
Okay, so were all these people
a good-looking guy that with arrogance? You know, that's what Cruise brought. He was a good-looking guy that had the cocky attitudes, and that's what the film needed. Now, unfortunately, he's a 5'7" guy, but otherwise, he was a cocky guy with a smile.
Kelly McGillis wrote she had to squat, like do this the whole.
Well, she's always leaning on the car or leaning on the side, or leaning on the furniture as he's standing up.
They put lifts in Tom Cruise's shoes. They had to bring him up a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't want to rank on Kelly McGillis, but dude, she looks like she should get her cougar patch for this movie.
I know. She looks like she's 35.
But she's 29.
She's 29 and he was 24.
She was only 5 years older than Cruise, but I got to tell you, she looks at least 10 years older.
Oh yeah,
she looks older than 29, and he looks like he's like 12 in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, she looks like she should absolutely get a cougar patch for this movie.
Well, even Goose looks older, and he's the same age as Cruise, but everybody else.
What the hell happened with Goose? He was in Revenge of the Nerds.
He died.
All of a sudden, he is thrown in the mix with all these really hot guys. And I got to tell you, I really felt a kindred spirit with him because, seriously, because during my season of Survivor, if they took the cast picture, they actually made me put my shirt back on because they didn't want the fat guy in the picture without his shirt on. That is 100% true. They made me put my shirt back on, but when Anthony Edwards was playing volleyball, he was the only one with a shirt on. Why?
Right.
He wasn't cut enough. He wasn't beefy enough. Put that shirt back on, okay? We're concerned about your lily white skin getting burned. That's crap. Don't believe them. It's all garbage.
I want to say
either that, or he had his shirt off, looked around, and went, "Production."
I say nay.
Can I have my shirt, please? I'd like my shirt, please. Can we ungrease me and...
That volleyball scene, I mean, I literally had to wipe the screen off from all the dripping testosterone in that one scene.
I know that in the bathroom scene. When Val Kilmer walks across.
Yes. Yeah.
Flexed.
Yeah.
He's so flexed he can barely walk.
Even Gracie. See, I watched this with my 18-year-old because she was going. She had just finished cooking. I know. We'll get to that many times. We'll get to that many times. She loves movies like I love movies. Hold on. So she had just finished cooking her lunch for the week, and I said, just come watch the first few minutes because I knew it was a lot of dogfight stuff. I knew it was the big stuff. So she came in and sat down and watched it and liked it. She got caught right up into the Kenny Loggins song, and she liked the fighting and stuff.
I'm sure she did.
The soundtrack is spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure she loved this movie.
Yes. But what are y'all talking about that made me bring that up? Because I was going to talk about Anthony Edwards, but otherwise you were talking about...
We're talking about him oiling up.
When Val Kilmer walked across the screen with his towel on and his chest falling out of his cavity, she said, that is the weirdest walk I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. Yes. He is trying so hard, I think he's going to hurt himself. Yes.
Yeah. Now, what's funny is they went back and added some of the volleyball scenes and the locker room scenes to make it more desirable for the female audience because those weren't in the original shots. So that was one of the things they went back and added. And there was some other stuff that we'll talk about later they added. But those were two of the things. It was the volleyball and some of the locker room shirtless scenes. Right.
Yeah. Well, they had to have more of a draw. And the blue scene. The scene with the blue room between Cruz and McGillis, they added that after the fact for the same reason. But Kelly McGillis had already moved on to another movie and changed her hair color. That's why they did it in like a shadowy blue room, so you couldn't tell their hair was brown now.
And if you look at his hair is thicker.
Yep.
And also, if you look at the elevator scene where she's wearing the hat, same reason. Her hair is already brown. His hair is already
correct.
Now listen, Dwayne, before you ask.
Y'all are looking way too close at that blue scene.
During the blue scene, I call that the popcorn scene because Gracie immediately said, awkward. So I said, I'm going to get popcorn.
Wait, you should have told her to go get the popcorn.
So, no,
she's your 18-year-old daughter.
But this was a PG movie, so I knew they weren't going to show anything.
They're not going to show any pink parts, right?
I even had Davis watching the beginning because of the airplanes and stuff, and he liked it until they started dialogue, and they were cursing like every other word. I'm like, good gracious! I said, but
and it was PG.
Pilots don't talk like that.
Oh,
yeah. I say nay to that one.
yeah, me too.
But Anthony Edwards, after this, he doesn't have a lot. He did do Zodiac, which is a great movie with Mark Ruffalo. But after that, I think what happened to Anthony Edwards is what happened to you, Dan, and what's happening to me, in that he didn't quite keep the main, even if that was his main. That was quite a main for a guy that suddenly didn't have a main. Yeah. But he went on to ER, and that was his big thing.
So that
was pretty much it.
He did really well in ER, though.
Oh, yeah, he was the lead.
That was a Michael Crichton TV show, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was surprised it was a Jerry Bruckheimer movie. I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Well, he was...
Well, I mean, I wasn't a big Top Gun...
Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, you're right.
Right.
And Bruckheimer's gone on to do a ton more stuff.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
But he did a bunch of big things, too. But a lot of people don't remember that this was a Bruckheimer film, too.
Yeah. Well, in the Navy,
it was almost like the other... Go ahead, Dan.
Thank you. The Navy actually agreed that they would fire 2 and only 2 missiles for this movie. Yeah. So every single missile shot that you see is the same 2 shots. They just different angles, and they had to make sure they had 75 different, so they could utilize it over and over again. But I know Bruckheimer must have been really upset because there wasn't anywhere near enough stuff blowing up.
Yeah. I'd hate to be the cameraman that had to have the front shot. Okay, we need it coming at you. No, but whenever I saw
no sudden movement,
when I saw Jerry's name on there, it reminded me of the other day I was watching Columbo, and I love Columbo, and I was watching season 1, episode 1, and I couldn't believe I had never seen season 1, episode 1, and at the end of Columbo it says directed by Steven Spielberg. I was like,
Spielberg?
Yes. I couldn't
Really?
believe it. Yes. How crazy is that? And I double-checked. It is the Steven Spielberg.
As opposed to the other Steven
As
Spielberg.
opposed to some other guy. Hey, I was like, okay, really, Steven? But this was before he made it big, you know? So
Wow.
anyway, Jerry Bruckheimer did this. So what other, I mean, like, David, do you have any of the box office numbers or anything like that? I know it cost $15 million to make, I think.
Only $15 million, but once it went worldwide, it made $356.8 million.
Wow.
I'd say they got their money back.
Somebody made some money.
Bank. Yeah, that movie made bank.
Yeah. Tom Cruise probably went back and went,
yeah, but think about it. I mean, nowadays, when the credits were done, when the movie was done, it was time for the credits. How long did the credits last? 2-3 minutes. When Lord of the Rings rolled the credits, it was 27 minutes long. Holy crap! Are you serious? Oh my Lord, that's like a sitcom.
It's like another movie.
It's longer than a sitcom. Just the credits. Oh my, that's crazy to me.
Oh man. All right. Oh, by the way, RIO, for those of you who were like me in the movie going, what in the world does that stand for? Radar Intercept Officer. There you go. And I would think,
wow, that was awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you. But I was thinking,
no segue, no lead in, no nothing, just cement.
There you go.
Good segue.
So who are the Rios?
Well, like Goose was a Rio.
I know that you didn't really explain who you were talking about. You just explained.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. All right. So you've got.
You jumped off the bridge.
Cruise.
You didn't take the exit ramp. So try to.
So you've got Maverick and Goose, and the way I'm thinking this is, these guys have been flying together for a long time, right? So you get to know each other really well, kind of like Luke Skywalker and R2-D2. You get to know each other really, really well, right? So I know I'm jumping way ahead, but at the end of the movie, they decide they're going to put Tom Cruise out there in an actual real situation with someone he's never flown with before, or maybe only once. That seemed a little.
And we haven't seen him fly since the time he basically quit.
Yes, I know. So, well, that's at the end of the movie, but still.
Well, it's the military. They don't care. They don't care about you, your feelings, your emotional status, your capability, or anything else. Just get out there.
Besides,
and it's like Durago. If he dies, he dies. You know, I mean, they don't care.
And you can't have the end of the movie without the lead character.
Yeah, right.
Well, you gotta figure that they must have done some mix and matching, you know, from time to time when they were on the ship.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think? Oh no, I don't think so. I would think once you have your radio intercept officer, that's the guy you always fly with. I mean, it's
did anybody else find it just odd that Tom Cruise, who there's been many jokes over the years, even South Park did it, okay, where Mr. Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet, okay? There's so many jokes about that, and you get somebody who's his best friend and his only family in the whole world, who he calls his rear, and always sits behind him with the name of Goose. Did anybody else pick up on that, or was it just me?
That must have just been you, Dan. That was just you. In fact, we're going to move on.
Now that I've said that, you're thinking to yourself, oh, wait a minute, that actually makes sense. That's a little strange.
So glad you brought that up at the beginning of the podcast.
So do you think this kind of stuff really happens where they're up there just doing training stuff and all of a sudden enemy bogies come flying up and they start playing cat and mouse?
I guarantee you it happens all the time.
Oh my gosh, that would be so freaking scary.
Now you know.
I mean, maybe not as much. Maybe not as much today, but I guarantee you back in the 80s, I guarantee you that kind of stuff took place.
Like locking on you and everything just to scare you? Oh, man.
I guarantee you it did. Especially when they had the MiGs. Those MiGs were a leap ahead in aviation as far as their speed, agility, maneuverability. Yeah. I guarantee you that kind of stuff happened.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the opening dogfight. Pretty good dogfight.
I was inverted.
Yes. One thing I thought was humorous, and I have a friend who is a Navy pilot, a fighter pilot, and I asked him about this. He said they would never say we're running low on gas. They would say fuel.
That is correct.
They would say fuel, and just he didn't say this, but I'm saying this. How many of y'all, when you're running low on fuel in your car, tap your gauge to make sure it's working?
Especially an electronic one.
Yes.
Especially an electronic one. Yes. That helps the electronic one work better.
We're running low on gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really are.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, the electronic one could have moved more. I was kind of surprised it didn't suddenly jump to 3/4. Yeah. But yeah.
My favorite part of the first scene was the synthesizer music in the background.
Very, very 80s.
It really added.
That should have had like Day Glow with Moose on. It was just, it was very 80s.
What we didn't see is they were wearing parachute pants
and the patent leather, the hammer shoes.
Yeah. Parachute pants and hammer shoes.
Now, did you know that? Let me tell you this: when they did test flights for all the actors, only one actor made it through all their flights without losing their lunch.
Tom Cruise.
Goose. No, Goose.
Goose was the only one to make it through. Of course.
He was the only one that could actually do it without vomiting. Yes.
And they made him keep his shirt on. Gosh.
Yes.
Yeah. He didn't make the end of the movie either. Spoiler alert.
That's right.
Yeah.
Take me to bed or lose me forever.
Take me to bed or lose me forever.
How about that little cameo from future Meg Ryan? I mean, that was
yeah. I got some stuff to say about that in a minute whenever we get to it.
Oh, we're not
so
around?
Really.
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
I was going to say we are jumping around, dude.
So like Cougar was actually a better pilot, a better fighter pilot than Maverick was.
That's what they said, but I don't buy it.
I think in the manner they were speaking, he'd scored higher on his missions or his outings or whatever he'd done, because obviously he hadn't been in a real combat situation.
Well, I think it's the overall because of all the trouble that Tom Cruise had caused.
Exactly.
I think it was more the overall performance of the individual, because Tom Cruise may have been a better pilot, but he'd been busted several times because of his attitude, because of everything else. But I think Cruise was always the better pilot.
And he had the reputation, he had that reputation that you're talking about, but he also had the family history that was weighing him down too, which was your dad screwed up, right?
Right.
And so, your family's already got a bad name type of thing. So, so I could see Tom Cruise was probably better, although more dangerous, and than Cougar was. But Cougar, of course, lost his marbles and needed Tom Cruise to go save him.
Yeah. What was the name of the commanding officer of the ship, the captain of the boat, whatever, Stubing. If you took out Stubing. if you took out I'm telling you, if you took out the two words GD, this guy had 6 seconds. That was it. That was like his major line through the entire movie. That's all, GD Maverick. That's all. That was his key line every time.
It's about as long as his lines in Back to the Future. So, since he was a principal, wasn't he?
That's right. That's right. The slacker. Yeah.
All right. So now they get to go to Top Gun, the top 1%. And so what
the best of the best, the real of the real, the top of the world, whatever.
The creme de la creme.
And in order to be at Top Gun, you have to chew gum
and sleep with Kelly McGillis.
Wear dark sunglasses. Yeah. And what?
And sleep with Kelly McGillis. Yes.
Apparently, chewing gum makes you look cooler and more threatening, and of course, wearing sunglasses inside does as well.
Well, to have slept with Kelly McGillis, that makes Tom Cruise the top of the 1%.
Yes. Okay.
So.
But see, they didn't all. It's not the top 1% that slept with Kelly McGillis that got into Top Gun.
It's the top of the 1%. Yeah.
All right. But I love how Iceman. I love the whole Iceman Maverick thing, because it's not like they don't hate each other. It's just real competition. you know.
Right.
But then Iceman actually has a real concern. Iceman also thinks you are dangerous and you are unpredictable, you know. So Iceman, being the I'm flying by the book kind of guy, doesn't like that. And then, of course, there's the testosterone.
And Iceman also talks about him being friends with Cougar. They went to flight school together.
Right.
And how did Cougar get in trouble? He got in trouble because Maverick left him and went after him off. So there's just recently Maverick proved that he can't be trusted to do what he needs him to do.
Right.
Well, and again, think about the way that the way that they describe the Iceman. He'll wear you down. He'll wear you down. He'll just he's just as cool as ice. He waits for you to make a mistake and then he jumps in. That's how focused he is, and that's how by the book he is.
Right.
So Maverick Maverick really is the antithesis of what Iceman is. But that's the reason why they knew Tom Cruise was the better pilot. And that's why you see Iceman staring at him in that opening scene in class, because he knows that's who he's got to be. That's the guy.
Yeah.
And even Kelly McGillis says it.
Yeah.
So you're the one, huh?
I love the whole getting in his face. I mean, like, Val Kilmer was like, I'm Batman.
That's right. I am
right in his face.
Ice.
So let's introduce Charlie.
Bow chicka wow wow.
It was based on an actual person, because the movie itself was based on a magazine article about the fighter school, Top Gun school, and then when they went to research the school, they met Charlie, or who they based Charlie on.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, I actually read this somewhere and I couldn't find the information to back it up, but tell me if it's true or not. When they first met Kelly McGillis in the bar, and she was on the date with the older man, that was the real Maverick.
No, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, his name. Cool. What was his name? I think I wrote it down. No. Perry. The guy. His real name was. I don't know. His name in the movie was Perry.
Yes. In the movie it was Perry. That is just too cool. I did not know that. I did not know that either.
No,
I think he was the real Maverick who was actually there for as an advisor capacity, and they put him in the movie.
Kind of tidbits.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love those kind of tidbits. So Kelly McGillis went and sat by. Wow, we got the
original Maverick,
the future Maverick. It's like, whoa, like.
Well, I was looking for his name in the credits and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if he was Maverick per se. I don't know if that was his call name or not, but he was the advisor for the movie.
Right. So I could never ever use this way to pick up women, and the reason why, and the reason why is because I have this inept sense of rhythm that I can't sing before it's supposed to happen. Right. So they go. You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. And then there's this 4.5 beats of rest, and they ignore the rest and just go right into the next phrase. And I just couldn't do that.
I'm with you, dude. It makes me crazy too. Yeah, because in my mind I'm hearing those beats in my head.
Yes. So I hate singing
a
song.
Tenderness.
Yes.
Like
and then people start singing along with you. All right, go ahead, Dan. Sing for us. Go ahead.
You're trying hard not to show it.
Baby! David, what are you doing, man? Are you reading a novel or something?
Here we go. The real-life person that Kelly McGillis sat with was codenamed Viper. He was the actual Viper. His name was Peter Pettigrew.
Oh.
He is a retired Navy pilot and Top Gun instructor and shot down a MiG during the Vietnam War. He served as the technical consultant on the film.
That's right. I saw his name in the credits. Peter Pettigrew, who was the rat in the Harry Potter movies.
There you go.
Wow.
Which has been on TV all weekend long.
Wow.
On the Family Channel.
All right.
No, the singing was perfect. The singing was perfect because it was so off. These were not singers.
Oh, God.
These were pilots.
These guys Tom Cruise can sing as well as Christy Brinkley could dance in the Uptown Girl video. It was so horrible. It was awesome in every conceivable way. And then all of a sudden you throw Goose into there, and it's like, oh, you can sing about as well as Neil Young. You couldn't carry a tune with a bucket and 3 friends helping you. It is beautiful in every conceivable way, and they know it, and they owned it. To me, that was the best part.
And their entire class joined in, so it was obviously, something that they've done before.
No. That was totally impromptu. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, they've never done that.
Yeah.
Well, it worked. He got to sit by her, and then he got.
Yay.
So what does he do?
It's called the slow game, dude. See, that's why you don't get it. You don't get it.
Okay, let me tell you something, man. I actually applauded Tom Cruise during this movie. My wife's sitting over on the couch, and later on in the movie, you can start telling that Charlie wants to kiss him. Charlie really wants him to come in for the kiss, and he's just like, okay, see you later. And I was like, yes! Way to go, Tom! Way to go, Tom!
I know, several times he walked off.
And I'll tell you right now, that's the way to do it, man. Somebody once asked me, they said, all right, okay, bring on the hate mail. Here we go. Somebody once asked me how you kiss a girl.
No.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Family friendly. Family friendly.
I'm gonna listen, for all your young guys out there, here's some spectacular advice, and you can write this down because I'm telling you this is good advice. Somebody once asked me, how do you kiss a woman? And I said, you don't. A woman kisses you, and you take the cues. So if you had 10 women lined up, and you got to kiss all 10 of those women right in a row, you would kiss every single woman differently because you take the cues from her for how she kisses you, and you kiss her back like that.
All right, go ahead, David.
I think to finish your sentence, he follows her to the women's loo.
Yes.
That's I think that's where somebody was going.
Well, he wasn't going to give up, that's for sure.
See, I got to tell you, I like the movie, but I almost agree with Roger Ebert when it comes to this movie. I thought he had a great line, and I don't always agree with him, but I do respect his opinions. But he said he gave the film 2.5 out of 4 stars.
Okay.
Pointing out that movies like Top Gun are hard to review because the good parts are so good and the bad parts are relentless. He said the dog fights are absolutely the best since Clint Eastwood's electrifying aerial scenes in Firefox. But
good movie.
Yes, but look out for the scenes where the people talk to one another. But to me,
nice.
I did watch this differently last night than I watched it 20-some years ago, for 35, whatever it is, 40, 50 years ago, whatever it was. Because I took it more off the cuff, because like Armageddon, when I watched Armageddon, I knew I was going to laugh. I wasn't going to take anything serious, and I loved it. I love Armageddon. It's just a fun movie. This I thought would be a little more not reserved, but more respectful, because I work with a lot of military, and I have a great respect for them, and I thought there were things in here that just weren't. But think about it from the perspective of then versus now. People didn't look at the military with that level of reverence that we do today. Right. That's what I'm saying. I watched it different last night than I did 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago. So.
Right. You've got a sharper perspective over the respect that military people, that we have for military people, because we've learned, and it's actually taken us a long time to do it, but we've learned that just because you don't back or support a war doesn't mean you can't support the people that are fighting it. Right, and during the 80s, just think about how many musicians were writing songs about the Vietnam era, people. I mean, there was just Born in the USA, Walking on a Thin Line by Huey Lewis and the News. There was just a multitude of these songs that came out because these people, they were just berated when they came back. They were just abused, just relentlessly. And now, go ahead.
Did you also read that? I read where Born in the USA, they were trying to get him to use that song in this movie, and he said no. He turned him down. I read that.
I believe it.
Can't say I've read it more than one places, but I remember that song popped up as well.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. Like I said, I remember there was a lot of artists that were asked to do some type of work with this, and either they turned it down because they thought that their song would be associated with war, or they just didn't think that a movie about guys flying jets would do well in the theaters, and they didn't want to be associated with a bomb.
Did I tell you that my friend who's a Navy pilot said that it turned out to be a great recruitment tool for all of military aviation?
Yeah.
That the movie ended up, I mean, like enrollment or
I heard 500%. Yeah, recruitment.
Yeah.
I believe it.
500% because of this movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, come on. Look how susceptible people are to stuff like this. As soon as the Hunger Games came out, archery lessons went up like 10,000%. It was something stupid.
Oh, I know. David's own daughter got a bow and arrow for Christmas that year. Played with it for like 5 minutes, and then it was done.
Oh, no, she's actually pretty good at it.
Oh, okay.
But I love it, though.
Oh, nice.
Well, I love the whole way that scene played out with Tom Cruise slow playing it, and I like the way he slow plays it throughout the whole movie.
I did that too because as arrogant as he was in a plane, he was not as successful in romantic side. So
well, I say nay to that, my friend. I disagree wholeheartely.
As soon as he realized who he was, that was when he was like, "Oh, really? You can go look that up in the manual. I'm sure you'll find that out."
I'm talking about the first scene. The first scene where she could have given him a number. She didn't like him until she found out who he was.
Right.
It's like she wasn't turned on until she found out who he was. But in that first scene, he was crashing.
That's why it's important.
I like that. I know, but I like that he was failing in that part.
Okay, I got it. And he admitted that the first time he did it, he crashed and burned.
That's right.
So I'll take it back. You're 100% right. Yeah. Again, he slow played it, and then once she actually knew more about who he was, and found out, she got to know him more. But again, he walked away, and as soon as he walked away, I'm like, oh, you own her, dude. That's it. That's all there is to it, man.
Yep.
Even the step of going into the women's bathroom, he checked his shirt, made sure everything was tucked in, he was all straight and narrow, and then walked in and has a little conversation. So. Well,
yeah, but then he shows up to her house for the top secret first date, and he goes, "Yeah, can I take a shower?" And she's like, "No, no, you can't, Mr. Stank. No, you absolutely cannot."
And he had sand every possible place.
Well, he was wearing jeans.
My question was,
I don't think
what is he going to put on after the shower?
Yeah, I think he's going to walk around without his shirt on at that point. That's what was going to happen.
That was the whole point of it, David.
I understand. I understand. But me being
we just don't know that because we never got to use that line.
Me being the guy that never asked to take a shower on the first date was like,
well, right, of course.
Did I bring extra clothes?
Yeah. So
I wonder how many guys tried that line.
We lost your video, sir.
What's going on?
We may have lost you. I don't know. No, I can hear you. Just don't see.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
I don't know what just happened. What's going on?
Well. There you are, sir. Now we can see you. Yep,
can you hear me?
I can see you.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've actually walked into girls' houses on a first date, and while talking to her mom, like when I was younger, just stand there and open the refrigerator and grab eggs and start juggling. I mean, I have done that before.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so how about let's move on to the next dogfight. And am I the only one that thinks that Jester was like a coward in this, and as soon as he realized he was going to be beat, he goes below the hard line?
Yes, I got to tell you, I was pissed at that too.
On.
Yeah, I don't think I absolutely, because you know what I would have said? I would have said, you know something? If I'm in a real dogfight, there's no hard deck in that. And if Jester knew that he was done, he should have tried to outmaneuver me instead of run away like a little coward. Yeah,
that's right. Exactly right.
I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, I got that as that's the reason Jester's number 2, and he's not Viper. Viper would not do that. Viper would just beat you flat out with his plane if he could.
I don't think Jester is number 2. They didn't say that he was, did they?
Well, I don't think they showed another officer other than those two for that purpose. I mean, for that class, so to speak. It was either Jester or Viper.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, Viper played by the awesome Tom Skerritt, who plays every part really well.
Yeah, Tom Skerritt was really good in that movie. He was well cast. Yeah. He was very well cast.
So then Tom decides to buzz the tower again. I don't know. To me that seems like a pretty risky move to make. You know.
Did they make those officers look like the same person? Because they surely were not the same person.
I think they tried to make it look like the same person to me.
The guy in the first scene who was in after they helped Cougar, and he did a flyby. That guy was an actor. He's a well-known actor, but his name, I'm surprised you didn't know this, Dwayne, is Duke Stroud. I just thought that was kind of ironic. That was pretty.
Don't you think?
You're not actually surprised I didn't know that, though.
No, I'm not. I was just leaving facetious.
I do not remember people's names at all.
Well, I didn't know his name, but when I looked it up, I thought it was pretty neat. Because I did read where one of the actors that was in this movie was a future Pacific Fleet commander.
Really?
Yeah, he got into the movie as an advisor, and they put him in the film, and he ended up going into the Pacific Fleet, is taking command of it. But so that was pretty cool. But yeah, the flybys, and I also read there's a list out there, 79 things that are wrong with Top Gun from a Navy fighter pilot. You know, and it's been out there a while.
Right.
So I don't have the whole list, but
I know, but these are great. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
You know, you would never have a classified class in a hangar. You know, that's what rooms are for. That was only for the cameras, for the views. If you wore a cowboy hat to that class, you'd be released from the school.
You'd be shot. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
you would. Your wings would be gone right away. And nor would they be wearing headphones like Slider was wearing, sitting next to Iceman.
Disrespectful.
There's just so much more respect. And like I said, working with the military now, there's just so much respect because the guys above you could ruin your career with one letter.
With the blink of an eye, with the stroke of a pen. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's so much more respect. You know, and another thing was Viper said he likes arrogance. That's good. No, they don't. That's not in their motto. Respect and protection or something to that. Arrogance is not in the motto. So I think
Kelly McGillis's line was better, where she said, "That's pretty arrogant considering you're flying a $30 million plane."
Yeah.
I think that's probably a far more accurate statement.
Yeah. But y'all said in the beginning, you know, Maverick doesn't think about what he's doing. He's not looking at the long mission. He's looking at right now. He's
instinctive.
He's the best pilot, instinctively the best pilot. Whereas Iceman has a plan and takes a little longer, but he's also reliable. But yes, instinctively in a quick second, Maverick is your best pilot.
Yeah, hands down.
So I do have a clip from the locker room. Do y'all want to hear it?
Is this the scene where they're in their tighty whities?
Oh yeah.
I thought we were going to reenact it. Yeah, we're not.
No.
You're everyone's problem.
No.
That's because every time you go up in the air, you're unsafe. I don't like you because you're dangerous.
That's right. Nice. Man, I am dangerous.
Apparently, chomping at the bit is very scary.
I can only presume he was crunching ice. When he was doing
that. That was his gum.
Yeah. That was probably the silliest part for Tom Cruise when he went, "That's right." You know, to me that was a little silly, but otherwise.
Was that the little insane look that he was trying to say?
Yes.
I'm a little insane.
Yeah.
You know, don't trust me or I'm crazy. But I'm like, no, you kind of want those guys to trust you.
Yeah. No. It's not. I don't think it was about don't trust me. I think it was don't push me. I am the best one here. I think that was what Skerritt had said about I love arrogance, because Cruise knew that he was the best person there, and I think Ice knew it too.
Yeah.
But I think they also knew that they were going to be the ones. But that cues into Viper's line earlier where he said, you know, just because we're, you know, this is a competition, just remember we're all on the same team.
That's
you
right.
know, and it's got to be hard to compete with these people, but no, you're on this. You know, it's kind of like your big brother picks on you. You know, and he'll just beat you mercilessly. But as soon as somebody else goes to pick on you, then, you know, he'll beat the hell out of them for you.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. So you see the competition, but then all of a sudden, like in the bar scene, all of a sudden they all jump in to try to help Tom Cruise, you know, go after Kelly McGillis, you know. And at the end, there is camaraderie.
Yep. I really like the the next thing is the date scene, and after the volleyball, of course. Yeah. But
okay, wait a minute. Before we get past the volleyball, dude, I just it's so comical to me. It's just I can't even think about that scene without cracking up. Because have you ever seen anybody flex so hard to check the time? I mean, it's like, whoa, it's a quarter past my bicep. Yes.
It's like Shia LaBeouf in Transformers showing Megan Fox. Did you see my rear view mirror here?
Oh my! It was that comical. Yes.
Well, I was laughing at the fact that they probably had to lower that net to about 4 feet just so Cruz could get up.
Really.
That's
really.
what I was.
Well, they had
trampolines. There was one of those little jogging trampolines. Yes.
They had those hidden in the sand.
Because Tom Cruise was getting as much vertical as Goose was, you know, and I'm like, no.
Goose has got a shirt on. He can't jump that high. No. He's weighted down.
I mean, between Val Kilmer and his buddy there, I mean, the two of them were. Val Kilmer was easily 6 foot, and his buddy was. He's got to be 6'2". Right. I'm like, there is no way these guys are getting the same vertical that Tom Cruise is. There's just no way.
They even had to put a booster seat in the pilot's seat so that
he's sitting on a phone book.
For the record, just to show you that you're correct, Val Kilmer was 6 foot, Goose was 6'2", and Slider, which was Val Kilmer's second, was 4.
Yeah. 6'4".
And Tom Cruise is what, 5'8"?
5'7".
5'7". Gosh.
Who is Slider?
Tom Cruise.
No, Tom Cruise is 5'7".
Oh, it's
Slider
5'7". Okay.
6'4" is Slider.
6'4". That's awesome. So Cruise can pick out his belly button lint for him. That's nice. Yeah. That's beautiful.
But I was getting a little worried, or maybe a little chafed, watching people play volleyball in jeans. That was driving me nuts.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what? You have no shorts at Miramar? Really? There's nothing? I mean, you know, you can make a pair of Daisy Dukes out of them. That was acceptable back in the 80s for a guy. But really?
He was wearing his date clothes. You know, so he was going on a date. He had to keep the jeans on.
Oh, yeah. So we keep the funky T-shirt ready to go.
So he's out in the hot sun, playing in jeans, puts on a T-shirt, gets that soaking wet, and then puts on his bomber jacket. The big, heavy leather bomber jacket.
Well, because it's safety equipment on his motorcycle. You're welcome.
That's right. That's right.
That's why they let the Fonz wear a leather jacket. In season 1 of Happy Days, he had a cloth jacket on. It wasn't until season 2 that he had a leather jacket, and originally the TV station said, no, he looks like a thug. And they said, it's safety equipment on a motorcycle for protection. And that was the only reason why they let him wear it.
Wow. Speaking of the motorcycle, that was also on the list, that they'd never let a guy drive a motorcycle down an airport tarmac and shake his fist at the airplane. That guy would never be allowed to do that.
I also got a kick out of Viper saying Top Gun rules are not flexible and neither am I. Now go on. In other words,
I like arrogant.
Yeah, but you just broke 2 rules, but we're not going to discipline you.
Exactly.
Right. But our rules are not flexible and neither am I.
Yeah, right.
But we're not going to discipline.
Well, next time they're not. Now.
Yeah.
Okay, sort of.
Yeah.
But again, I was still with you when Jester broke the hard deck, and that was crap. That was such a coward's way out.
So after this scene is where Goose goes to Maverick's, I guess, home or where he's staying, and he goes to him and says, "Look, dude, I got family. This is my one shot to make it big. I want to do this. I don't want to screw it up." And I couldn't get through that scene without looking at Tom Cruise saying, "Why is his hair so thick? or why is his face more chubby than it seemed like before?" And I'm just thinking. I told Gracie, I said, "I think this is one of those scenes. I would bet money on it."
They added.
Added it back in. I said, this might be the more personable side because they wanted to add more romantic side. I can't imagine there wasn't more romantic.
More
side.
touching.
More
well,
touching.
I think they wanted to show that there was more of a connection between these two than just, Goose is sitting behind Tom Cruise's butt. They wanted to show that there was real family there. There was real connection there. And again, guys don't care. So I couldn't agree more. I really think you're right there.
Yeah, but I like, like what Dwaine was saying earlier, no matter how many years they might have been together, it's a daily together. These guys are together nonstop. Right. They know each other's families like family. Meg Ryan loves them like anything. She can tell when the boy's in love. I mean, that's close knit. So when he loses him, you're right. To get somebody else to sit behind him, that's got to. I mean, the book, you go by the book is the same, the instructions are the same, but the feelings are different. The words are a little bit different.
It's like a police partner.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of wondered though if there's some element like when you're on a U-boat. People that were on a U-boat were trained in every single position on the boat, no matter what. So that way, it didn't matter if anything went wrong. You can jump into that position. And I got to think that there's got to be some element to that where these guys are expected to be trained the same way, so that if somebody has to jump in instead of your normal, RIO, then you can still do the same thing. It isn't. It's like if from now on, Lady Wentworth sat in all the time instead of Dwaine. You and Dave and Kelly would do. I'm sure that you would be very fine with that. But seriously, you guys would do great. You guys would be funny, but it would be missing something. There may be something. There may be something new, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that same magic between the two of you wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
How's that for a little suck up? Is that good?
There you go.
That's not bad. That's
Survivor Talk with D and K.
I'd let her go first. You can call it K and D.
K and D, yeah.
That's right.
Oh.
Another line from the list of 79, which I wish I printed out now because they're only coming back to me.
No, I wish you do too. Yeah.
In fact, I'll post it on our Facebook group, the Movie Talk Facebook group.
Please.
They said when Goose was giving Slider a hard time, saying, "I thought you were going to be a pilot." He says to the, and this was one Rio talking to another Rio. Thought you were going to be a pilot, so now you're not. So basically, he was insulting him into the position that he was also carrying. So instead of saying, you didn't quite make pilot, you slid down to our position. So they said one Rio would never joke on another Rio for being a Rio.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
so
nice.
do we want to get to the part where we meet Meg Ryan? That's kind of where we are. If we want to skip the date and everything, which I'm fine with.
One of the things that I had remembered that when Kelly McGillis, when she looked at him at that one point in the movie and she goes, "This is going to be complicated."
Yes,
and I thought, all I could think to myself is, I remember reading a statistic one time that basically said that within the first 5 seconds of meeting a woman, she knows whether she's going to sleep with you or not. Mm-hmm. And the running joke is always, it would be nice if you would tell us so we could stop buying you drinks and, kind of invest in somebody else. But at that point, she told him. This is going to be complicated.
Yeah, I'm in. And this is going to be complicated, but I'm in.
And what did Tom Cruise do? And he laughed. That's right. It was beautiful.
Hey,
it was absolutely.
He said, "I'm going to go get a shower," and then he gets on his bike and takes off.
It was spectacular. That was,
really was.
Women everywhere were trembling in all kinds of places at that moment. It was beautiful.
I guess I'm getting crabby in old age because I bought it then, but to me, I just don't feel the chemistry between the older Kelly McGillis and the younger Tom Cruise. Those two just seem like they're from two different movies.
But listen to how you phrase that. The older Kelly McGillis and the younger Tom. There's only 5 years in between them, but it looks like there's at least 10.
Yeah, her look to me doesn't match what somebody like him I would think would go after.
100%.
There were so many girls in that bar that were drinking and laughing, having fun, and he goes after the woman with the sweater and the nice button-up shirt, sitting with the old guy.
They could. I don't think she was cast well. I really don't.
That's my point. Yeah.
I don't think so. But here's the problem, though. The problem is that age-wise, I think she was appropriate age-wise, but I also think that her look in some ways was good because she looked older than she was, and I think that they had to have somebody that at least looked like she was responsible enough and seasoned enough and knowledgeable enough. You couldn't throw like a Megan Fox in there or something like that. No. You had to have somebody with a level of maturity to carry that role. But the problem was, as soon as it gets into the romantic side, you lose something. So I don't know if anybody could have been cast well in that role.
Yeah, you're right, because you do have to find somebody older enough that could pass for that position. You're right.
Yeah.
Because she had just came off of Witness, and there was a part in the movie where, of course, Tony Scott got fired 3 times on this movie and got rehired. But the producer said, you made her look too much like a prostitute, I guess to say it in a nice way. And he's like, "Are you kidding me? She looks gorgeous. She looks beautiful." But they said, "No, you've made her look like she doesn't, like she's not a pretty woman. That she's like the character Julia Roberts played." But anyway, and and that was something they fought over, and he got fired for. But they ended up bringing him back. But I thought she looked great. I just didn't. I agree that I think she was miscast. But at the time, who else would you have cast in that role?
I don't know if you could have cast anybody any better. I think that's kind of the problem. Yeah. I'm not saying that she was a bad cast per se. I'm saying that it was a nearly impossible role for anybody to fill because of the dichotomy that this individual was expected to play between the mature, responsible, intelligent, top choice for Top Gun, for Miramar to be there, but the young and vulnerable woman who is, quivering over, the fighter pilot, the arrogant fighter pilot, and could you have cast better?
Maybe that says something about Pete Maverick, that he's in a bar with a bunch of people that are partying and drinking, and of all the women he sees, he picks out the one who does not look drunk, who looks very mature, who looks settled in her life, and that's the one he wants to go talk to. Maybe that says something for the young pilot, that he's looking for a mature date and not just a fling. He's looking for the right woman.
Yeah, but he didn't start looking around until the bet was made.
True. Cardinal knowledge, yes.
That's correct. It was a $20 bet for cardinal knowledge. That's correct. Yes. So up until that point, he probably... See, I look at it the other way around. I think he looked around the bar and he thought, who's the easiest mark to win the $20? That's how I saw it.
Oh, gotcha. Well, yeah, I forgot about the bet. You're right.
So I kind of...
forget about the bet.
And it's wrong to bet on women like that, for the record. It's wrong.
For the record, I completely agree with you.
Thank you. Oh, God, now you're in trouble. Don't ever agree with me. Legions of women will hate you.
Okay, I cannot disagree with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So whenever...
Go ahead, Dwayne.
Oh, I don't care where we jump. So let's jump, just because I'm feeling like it. Whenever he finally does take her breath away, was I the only one who thought he left a 20 spot on the table instead of a paper airplane?
It certainly felt like the same thing to me. Yeah. It was more classy than the $20 that he won in the bet, but not much. Yeah, not much.
Yeah, I was joking with my wife.
Was this after the blue scene?
My wife about that.
Because I wasn't in the room.
Yes.
The blue scene. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the next morning she wakes up and there's a rose on the pillow, and was it was it just
was a little airplane.
Well, when she opened it, I think it was a rose there with it.
I don't remember that.
Okay, because it looked like she picked up the airplane, but there was still something on the pillow.
Yeah.
I thought there was a rose there. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but
so I come back in the room with popcorn and I ask Gracie, "Are we still watching a PG movie?" And she goes, "Oh yeah." She goes, "Yeah, it's just." She goes, "They kiss weird. They don't kiss well." And even at the end, when she chases him in the car, and he's "You're crazy," and she's driving like a maniac. She's the crazy one, and they kiss, and there's still the height differential, and they still try to kiss. And Gracie goes, "See, they kiss weird. They don't kiss right."
And you're going, "Gracie, how do you know this?"
How do you know this?
Because I've watched a lot of people do it, Dad.
That's right. The movies they make now,
Dad.
people know how to kiss.
Yeah. Even the Disney movies, they kiss better than that.
Well, think about the blue scene too, because you've got this spectacular blue light behind the two shadowed bodies, and you've got the little going on there, and I'm like, ew! No woman is gonna like you licking the back of her teeth. Nobody is going to like that. No woman is gonna say, "Ooh, that is awesome." No.
So my wife and I were watching it, and they literally have their first kiss by the motorcycle, and then they go in, and he takes her breath away. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous!" And I started fast forwarding, and she goes, "What? You don't like the editing in this scene?" I was like,
well, I was gonna leave it there.
No.
Gracie's last comment after that scene was, I guess it was he licked her neck or something. And she said,
"I don't know. I didn't watch
that. Who why would she let him lick her neck? And I'm thinking, we'll just leave it at that.
Why'd you raise your hand? David.
Because
Whatever.
And you can't explain why that's a good thing to your 18-year-old daughter. You know,
and I don't try.
No.
And I don't.
No,
try.
no. God, I heard this great comedy skit the other day with Louis C.K. and he was talking to a buddy of his, and his buddy's like, dude, my daughter's 15, dude. You know, oh man, she's gonna be kissing boys and having sex. What do I do? And Louis C.K.'s answer was, you do nothing. That is not something that you have any part in. Nothing. You stay out of that completely. You don't talk about it. You don't encourage it. Nothing.
Oh man, Dwaine
right,
hasn't experienced this with his boys.
Where are we going next, David? I'm not going into it yet.
No, you're not going. So we talked about Maverick breaking off of Hollywood, and going after
trivia question.
Go ahead.
Here's a trivia question.
All right.
What is the alternative business that Goose suggests that he goes into if they screw up at Top Gun?
Truck driving school.
What's the name of the school?
Oh, I don't know.
That I don't remember.
Truck Masters.
Truck Master.
He's like, what was the name of that trucking company? And he goes, what was it, Truck Masters?
See, and Gracie loves him at this point. Gracie thinks Goose is the funniest, most likable person in the whole movie, and I can't say a word. Cannot say a word as to what's coming.
Oh,
because she loves Goose.
Yeah.
He's her favorite. You know.
Well, and again, he went from Revenge of the Nerds to be thrown into these just like shockingly dripping in testosterone, ripped, hot guys, and he's not allowed to take his shirt off. So obviously he was the comedic value to the movie, but we have to kill him off. So,
See, I would say that he kept his shirt on to keep the focus on Tom Cruise, but everybody else had their shirts off around him. So.
Yeah, no, he just could not hang in that category with them.
Yeah.
They kind of set us up for this for a Goose's death. With earlier in the dogfight, Maverick goes rogue and gets schooled by a Viper, right? And then he gets basically talked down to in the bathroom, and he says to Goose, "It won't happen again." And Goose is like, "Yeah, okay." And I'm thinking, something's about to happen. Something's going to happen again.
I think he said, "I know." Goose said, "I know," as if you always say that. And
you'll always come through with what you say. If you tell me you're going to do it, then you're going to stand by it, kind of thing. They have that kind of relationship.
Oh, so you think because you and David are saying two different things. David's saying he's saying I know, but like you always say that, but you always do it again. And you're saying he's saying I know because they do.
Yeah, I think he was saying it. I think Goose believed what he said because Tom Cruise he looked right at him and he goes, "That was stupid." He goes, "I promise you, I will never do that again." And I think he has been humbled before. I don't think it's often, but the fact I think Goose believed him. I don't know. That was my take on it.
I took it as Goose believes that Maverick would never put him in danger. He would never risk his life. But at the same time, Goose knows that Maverick is still going to be Maverick, and Maverick's going to do things that are risky and that can be dangerous. But at the same time, Maverick would never do anything to put Goose in danger and put them in that situation.
I do agree with that, but look at how the movie turned out in the end. He was, at the end of the movie, he was Ice's wingman. Even though somebody was going to come up behind him and blow him away, he didn't care. He was not going to leave his wingman. So
my wingman.
Yeah, I really think that Goose took it for, if Tom Cruise says it as much of, let's go cliche now, as much of a maverick as he may be, he still stands by what he says.
And the next time he gets the opportunity and he does follow through with his promise, look what happens.
Right.
We get into the bad situation. So it's kind of ironic that it happened that way. But
wasn't that kind of Iceman's fault?
Well,
I mean,
it was
didn't Iceman ultimately cause this?
Another number 58 on the list of 79 is when you have 20 seconds, you freaking move and get out of there. You don't take 20 seconds to shoot somebody, especially when the guy behind you's got a shot. You pull out and you get out of the way because the name of the game is to get rid of your opponent, not to chase him for 20 more seconds. You get out of the way. And Cruz was so intent to get the shot off because he knew he had the better shot that he sucked right into the back of Iceman. And by the time Iceman pulled out, then Cruz was in trouble. Maverick was in trouble with his plane.
Well, no, it wasn't until Iceman pulled out that he got caught in the jet wash. So I got to tell you, I couldn't understand why Iceman wasn't standing in front of that panel because Cruz had the shot. Iceman wouldn't get out of the way. And then as soon as Iceman left, that's when he got caught in the jet wash. So really,
Somebody died because of it.
Yes. So instead of Cruz, because, okay, granted, Cruz is the pilot, ultimately comes down to him. But it was Iceman's fault. He should have been the one standing in front of that console.
I agree. I spent the whole rest of the movie wondering why Iceman wasn't in trouble.
100%.
Yeah. Of course, Gracie was not happy with that scene. That caught her completely by surprise. And
good.
Yeah, that was a shocker. And
Mark of a good movie, you know.
Exactly.
You get attached to a character, and then all of a sudden they yank the rug out from under you, and they kill him by snapping his neck. So very nice.
Yeah. Another item on that list.
Never happened in. Go ahead, David.
Oh, sorry. Another item.
That's never happened in Game of Thrones.
Not at all. Just every other.
Or the Walking Dead, for that matter. That's right. Never.
Yeah.
I still got to watch that last one, the last episode. Another technical issue on the list of 79 was that what happened with the ejection should never have happened physically.
Why?
Because the guy made the point that when you clear the hatch that they did, it goes straight up and away. It doesn't just lift so that you get trapped. It actually goes, and then they would have
blown away.
Exactly, and it basically got stuck or it just tilted, and that's where it broke his neck, and then he got in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, there should be a hell of a lot more force ejecting that cover.
Right.
And even when they finally pulled it and the cover went away, and next thing you look at it and you think there's at least a second and a half, if not 2 seconds, before the bodies eject.
Right.
And how did Goose hit it and Cruz didn't?
Yeah.
They're sitting 6 inches apart from each other. How does that even happen?
Well, actually, you see the top go out of screen. And then the next scene, it's back in,
Right.
It like went, whoop, whoop.
There's Goose, getting his neck snapped. Yeah.
Came back to get him.
They did do a lot of shooting in the airplanes. Of course, the actors were always in the back seat when they shot these things. So anytime you see the actor with the actor behind him, it's obviously a studio, an airplane's a fake airplane. But they did take them up, get real shots of them flying around and stuff. So I mean, great camera work. Love the dogfight and stuff. That was some of the best you're ever going to find.
Yeah, I mean, especially the scene at the end with the MiGs. I mean, they look like mosquitoes, just buzzing around. It was really cool.
Man. Speaking of which, I know you know this answer, Dan. What country, Dwayne, were the MiGs representing?
Russia, I guess.
Where was that ever said? No, I guess is a good answer because they never gave the MiGs a country. That was on purpose.
Well, you saw the big red star on the back.
Yeah.
So you presumed it's Russia.
And they were painted black, just to make them look villainous. But they were actually,
of course,
Grumman F somethings, so that they just made for the movie.
They had the Darth Vader hoods on. Yep.
Exactly. But they were never actually given a country of origin, which is kind of neat.
Well, you would, again, it's kind of like. Go ahead.
Well, it's not like, and I've forgotten the name. It's not like Red Dawn where it's the Cubans.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was just going to say that. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a propaganda movie of sorts, but it wasn't completely villainizing anybody per se. But there was definitely the overtones of it. I mean, this is still, very Cold War era.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, they had the big, in the bathroom scene, the big, join the Navy poster. Like you need a join the Navy poster in a Navy bathroom. But
yeah. What still boggles my mind that why are the Navy guys the best air pilots? You know, you would think the Air Force guys would be the best pilots.
Right.
But no, it's the Navy guys. I still don't get that.
Yeah. I don't know. So Maverick, he's like...
I still get over his tighty whities. You know?
I know. Everybody wore tighty whities. And they didn't wear, like, low-cut tighty whities.
No!
Those tighty whities were up to their chest.
These are like granny panties. These are like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still can't get over that. You would think they would have at least bought him at Baby Gap so you could show his butt a little bit more or something, but no.
Yeah,
you know?
Really?
No, nothing.
So then we get Viper going into counseling mode, where I guess he talks to him in the restroom, and then then Tom goes to his house. Maverick goes to his house. And
did anybody else get a creepy feeling from that? I mean, here's Tom
his wife was a really bad actress.
No, the bathroom scene.
Where he's in his underwear.
Oh, the bathroom scene, yeah.
Yes! Here's Tom Cruise. Yes! Here's Tom Cruise standing there in his underwear, and here comes Tom Skerritt. Let's have an intimate discussion. Let's have a, come on.
Hey, I'm not dressed. Can we wait till I get dressed before we have this scene?
Yeah, really.
Nope. And again, if you're going to... Go ahead,
get over him.
You know,
I did.
Okay, tell me somebody else saw the comparison to Titanic from that. You know, because it's like, you got to let him go. Glub, glub, glub. You know? I mean, seriously. It was like, I mean, it was like they copied that line out of Top Gun and stuck it in Titanic. Yeah. Because all I can see is Leonardo DiCaprio sinking in the water at this point. You know, that's all I can hear to myself.
Oh man!
I did like.
Maverick
story. I did like that we got the story of his dad, the real story of his dad, at Viper's house.
Well, it was so overshadowed. You know, his entire career almost from the opening scene. Right. You know, that whole thing was playing in, but the fact that they put it in there, I think, was good, and it felt like Tom Cruise got some closure out of it. So now he can be a better pilot. So he can channel.
He doesn't have to prove himself.
Right. So he can channel. Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, Goose. You know, he can channel the dead energy, you know, of his butt guy sitting behind him.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's not the serious way that I took it, as in his career doesn't have to end in the craziness that his father's did when he realized his father was actually a hero. You know, he had it in him to go back and be a hero. So,
no, I like the Jonathan Edwards talking to dead people reference way better. That's much funnier.
Okay, I still don't get why they would send him on a priority mission when he, number one, just lost his Rio, and two, hasn't recovered yet and proven himself in the air.
Because who did the orders come from?
Before you get further.
It didn't come from anybody on the ship. It didn't come from anybody at Top Gun.
Item number 35 on the list of 79 things wrong with this movie. You would never get orders at your graduation.
Well, we have to keep the pace of the movie going. That's right. You know.
That's right.
Yeah, we got to do that.
We're gonna cut two scenes into one. Bring the paperwork. Bring in the paperwork.
Well, they did the same thing in U-571. They were at somebody's wedding, and then all of a sudden the orders came in, and they had to bail out right then and there. That's a common movie trait.
Love that.
I have a real problem.
That was a really good movie. That's all right. It was especially where
I love that movie.
Especially when John Bon Jovi died from the what was it? The manhole cover.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Oh man.
Yeah. That was a spectacular movie.
Too bad it wasn't real.
Okay, am I the only one? I am truly this is a major problem for me in this movie. Maverick does not get Goose's dog tags. His wife or his son gets Goose's dog tags. 100%. And much less does he throw the things in the ocean.
Again, another Titanic reference. You know, it's like the old lady throwing that gigantic diamond into the ocean. Yes, that pissed me off too. I 100% agree with you.
See, I watched this through Gracie because he's the first time, and she hated that. She hated when he threw that out into the ocean.
Absolutely.
I'm just thinking, I'm that little kid, and I don't have my dad's dog tags.
Yeah,
or I'm the
I'd be
wife and I don't have
pissed.
my husband's dog tags.
So was he
you gave it to
stealing?
Maverick?
Was he stealing their property?
I mean,
what was he doing in there? Collecting what
Well,
he
it's a
wanted.
federal offense. He's actually in the brig right now. He's still sitting there.
You know how much
You know,
those
him and-
Ray-Ban glasses are worth?
Oh God, huge money.
But yeah, I
Anyway,
agree, Dwayne. Gracie hated that.
That really
She hated
did bother me.
Yeah, yeah, that bugged the hell out of me. I am so with you, Dwayne, on that one. That really upset me. I can see him having a picture of the two of them together, or I can see him, you know,
like that.
anything. But his dog tags? No way.
Yeah, that's I agree.
Yeah.
Nope. The only explanation for that, because the military wouldn't have given him the dog tags. They would have given the dog tags to his family. So
Absolutely.
the only explanation is she gave them to him, or he stole them.
I think he stole them. He put them in that box and walked out of the house.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Another trivia question. You ready?
What?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
What was the name of the admiral's daughter that Tom Cruise tapped?
Was it Penny?
Penny
Jenny?
what?
Penny Jenny?
I
don't know.
What Penny
They
Pettigrew?
said her
Martindale.
They said her first and last name several times in the movie.
Yeah. Marjorie, Majorette. I don't know.
Penny Benjamin.
Oh.
See, I was close.
You were very close
Majorette.
with Penny.
Speaking
I
of
had 3
names,
syllables.
one name we never got was Goose's actual name. So what was Goose's actual name?
Bob.
His last name does start with a. I'll give you an 18th of a point
Harold.
for that one. No, I mean something you gotta look up.
He actually has a name?
Yeah, it's Nick Bradshaw, but you would never know that from watching the movie. You'd have to look.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Well, that's
they
like
ne-
That's like Kevin Costner's the dead guy in The Big Chill. You wouldn't know that unless you watched the credits.
Right.
All right. Oh, man. So where are we? I guess we're kind of getting close to the end here.
Yeah, we're all over the place on
this. Oh, okay. Second time that gets played.
Oh, yeah, we got the whole final fight. Really? So apparently there are people in the other states or in somewhere overseas that just decide, let's go shoot some American fighter pilots down. Let's start a world war.
No, I think it was more
I have
kind
a
of.
problem with that.
No, it was more reminiscent of what happened with Maverick's dad. You know, they just happened to be over the wrong line on some map that somebody makes a claim to, and the MiGs are out there just screwing around. But
the MiGs shot first. The MiG guys were actually trying to shoot them down.
The communication boat had drifted into
into foreign waters.
Right, into foreign waters.
Oh.
So they were having to go into conflict waters to try and protect this thing where there were MiGs there who were actually wanting to fight back for it, defend their area.
Right. So because technically the Americans violated the neutral zone, or whatever it was, that gave the Romulans, permission to fire upon them. So
So we've identified the MiGs now as Romulan vessels.
yes,
Romulan vessels.
they've decloaked, and now they have permission to fire.
Yes, because they went from 1 to 6.
I tell you what, we have the worst radar in 1986.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh Lord.
Okay. How about this? All right, Iceman in Hollywood, take off. Right, Iceman in Hollywood, take off. So Maverick is hanging around waiting to go. Maverick gets to take off. He takes off, and what does he do when he leaves the ship? He does a barrel roll. Right?
Yes.
Yep.
God forbid I ever have an airline pilot who used to be a Navy pilot who decides, you know what? I miss those barrel rolls I used to do every time I took off. I think I'll try one right now.
Dude, I would pay triple for my ticket to have a pilot do that. That would be worth it in every conceivable way.
But I have a feeling.
The fuselage would be filled with feces because people would defecate all over themselves. I would pay anything for that.
All right, so here's two more on the list of 79. No, let me finish.
Hold on, David.
One of them was you never do a barrel roll on a takeoff.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. I bet my Navy pilot friend would say, no, I don't do barrel rolls on takeoffs.
Completely agree. Absolutely.
Oh, that would be beautiful. Can you imagine being on Southwest Airlines where they don't assign seats? It's just a free-for-all. They do their stand-up comedy for the how to put your seatbelt on, and as the pilot takes off, he does a barrel roll. That would be the greatest flight of all time.
David would be in trouble because the flight I was on with David, he didn't even put on his seatbelt. He just kind of acted like it.
Well, I wasn't coming out of that seat anytime soon. So.
Yeah. Oh my! I would pay anything for that.
I was stuck in.
I would pay anything for that ticket. Oh, that would be the greatest day ever.
About the planes, which I'm not an aerodynamic person. I don't know much about them, but reading about it, all those shots where it shows you the smoke curling behind them.
Yes.
That's a dumping of fuel. Why would you dump fuel on the way to your dogfight?
That is correct.
I had no idea. I just thought it was a cool.
Well, because all you got to do is tap on your fuel gauge and there'll be more. So it's fine.
The reverse kick.
Wait, no.
The second
tap
tank
on the gas gauge. On the gas gauge.
The gas gauge.
We're running low on gas.
Is it? There it is. Okay, never mind. We got 3/4 of a tank.
Yeah. Okay, so here's another funny moment. Here's another funny moment. Maverick's up there going, "Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me, Goose." And Tim Robbins is behind him going, "Dude, I got to make Shawshank Redemption in a couple of years. Get your butt in action. I got a really good career ahead of me."
I had to look 3 or 4 times. I'm like, is that Timothy Robbins? Is that? Yeah. And it wasn't until the credits I'm like, yeah, that really is Timothy Robbins.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's screaming his lungs out. I'm like, I don't know if you can hear Goose, but I can still hear Merlin. I can hear Merlin back there.
And then one last thing. Iceman. He goes, "I've got a clear shot. Fire!" No, I doubt they go fire when they hit the trigger. I just really don't think that professional Navy pilots go, "Fire!" Pull the little red trigger. I mean, the foreign guys didn't do it. The foreign guys just went.
Well, because we can't have them talk, because then we'd know what nationality they were, and then it would become more of a propaganda movie. But if it was Independence Day, they would say "check one," and that's how they say fire. So
there you go.
They could have spoke Romulan. That would have been so cool.
And of course, you knew he was going to do the hit the brakes and he'll fly right by scene. You knew that was gonna happen.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, he does the flyby,
which would get you in so much trouble.
Exactly. Does anybody? Oh, listen. Does anybody else find it odd that if a guy works in the tower all day long, and yet he's still shocked when somebody does a flyby? Really? It still scares puts coffee all over himself every time? You are the dumbest man alive. You need some serious Prozac, dude. You need to find a new line of work. You need to get out of there.
I wonder how often flybys actually happen, though, because I bet the penalty is pretty big.
Oh, I guarantee you it's huge.
Yeah.
Speaking of penalties, at the current Top Gun school, if you use a line from the movie or quote the movie, you're fined $5.
$5.
And I wonder if that's gone up since then. I don't know when that was put out, but I saw that $5 a quote if you say something from the movie.
Wow.
Yes.
So and what means you can't say fire.
That's correct.
You can't say I feel the need for speed. Nope.
Yeah, you better not say talk to me, Goose. But here's what I want to know is where does the $5 go?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably to whoever called you out on it.
Well, it probably goes to singing lessons. You know,
maybe.
Probably
choir lessons. That's right.
Yeah.
Man. All right.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Guess who decided not to take the job in Washington?
Yes. That older
based on that very short relationship, she's going to give up the great job to come be back with Maverick.
So if the number one person in Top Gun school who wins the Top Gun trophy, which actually does not exist in real life,
I have an answer for this.
If they get the opportunity to come back and teach, how did the loser get to come back and teach?
Because they offered him anything they want, any position he wanted.
Because of the successful mission. which, again, that's got to be on that list of 79 crap things that would never happen. The Navy does not cowtail to anybody, okay? Yeah, no, not happening.
Especially after he did a flyby afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that canceled everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, but that's why, because Connie asked the same thing, and I said, well, the commander said, they just said you can do anything you want. And he said,
you name,
well,
pick your choice.
Teach.
Well, it's like the kid in Karate Kid 3. He'd get a point and lose a point. He'd get a point and he'd lose a point. That's Maverick. He does something good, then he does something stupid.
But how good of a teacher is he going to be when he works on instinct and he doesn't always follow the rule of the book?
He's going to suck as a teacher. Technically, he would be horrible.
Exactly.
He would be an awful teacher.
Okay, so Maverick, you can do anything you want. I want to teach. Well, except that. We don't want to put
wait a second. Wait a second. He didn't say he wanted to teach. He said he wanted to go to Top Gun. He did say he wanted to be a teacher at Top Gun.
Instructor, yeah. Top Gun.
An instructor.
Actually,
so
he just said, I want to be
a jester.
He just said, I want to be an instructor, and the other guy said, at Top Gun?
Yeah. Yeah, because every line he says is filled with GDs and screaming. That's it. That's all. He's like Robin Williams. He doesn't have lines. They just turn the camera on and let him yell at everybody.
Yeah.
Slackers! And he's got a shotgun But
you're right. He would be a good jester. He'd be an
outstanding jester.
Yeah.
Yes. He would be an amazing jester.
Because Jester got fired
to the bar. So let's segue our way to the bar. And Tom Cruise is sitting there drinking a drink. And we know where the jukebox is. We can see it over his right shoulder, which would be to our left of him. We see the hand put the quarter in.
Yes.
And the music starts. He turns around. And apparently she hid behind the bar or something because he walked.
She got around the bar.
Yeah. He walked through it, and then she comes around the corner. So she had, she like squatted down on the floor so he'd walk past her.
No. It's a completely circular bar. She just, as soon as she put it in, she quickly walked away while the record was loading.
Right.
So then she was able to get. But he would have had to have been looking right at her down the other end of the bar if she came around the bar behind him somehow. So I don't know whether she crawled on her hands and knees to get around it or.
Might a 5'10"
That's what
female.
she did.
Yeah. Tom Cruise is only, he's 5'2", so he's like an old lady knuckle driver at the bar. He's kind of like this,
He's in the high chair. The high seat, yeah.
So Tom Cruise is at a bar, and all you can see is this for him reaching for his drink.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So then we have the famous closing scene.
Hello, Pete Mitchell. I heard the best of the best were going to be back here, so.
Baby, I get down on this could be complicated. On the first one I crashed and burned.
And the second?
I don't know. But,
looking good so far.
Good so far.
Am I the only one that thinks this sounds a whole lot better when you actually see it with it?
It helps because if you're not seeing those two, you think it's a teacher talking to a student. To me, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I crashed and burned the first time.
Well, how is it going now?
I don't know, Miss McGillis, but I'm sure looking forward to my spanking. Because I've been naughty.
So that, my friends, is Top Gun, 1986. Tomorrow is October 21st. Everyone should wear their pants inside out because that's apparently how we're going to be dressing in October 21st of 2015, according to Back to the Future.
That's right. Marlene Fly should show up.
That's right.
Well,
and apparently the Cubs are going to win the series this year. And
the Cubbies. I wish I had bet on the Cubbies.
Yeah. All right. Hey, that was a lot of fun Top Gun was a good movie. I'm glad we watched it. I'm glad we did it.
I've told you, man, I think it was much better than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That movie's too funny to begin with. It's not a movie. It's not a good roasting movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right.
You got to take serious movies and just rank on them. And I mean, come on. How does the look on these two faces not say we should roast the hell out of these two? I mean, seriously.
It is time to roast. Yes.
I mean, look at Tom Cruise with the thumbs up. Yes, I am awesomeness compacted into my tighty whities. That is what I am right there.
That's right. So
all right, now listen.
Do y'all have any final words about the movie?
I still say this has got to be one of the greatest date movies of all time. I really do. I just think it's got all the really great balanced elements, but the fact that it was PG, I just found it to be funny because there was no PG-13 back then.
Right. There wasn't a PG-13 yet.
But again, it was just
I don't think there was.
No, not at the time there wasn't, no.
That happened after Gremlins. PG-13 happened Gremlins and then Temple of Doom.
I thought Red Dawn was one of the first ones.
Well, Temple of Doom, when they pulled the heart out of the guy, that's what pushed over to
Indy,
13.
cover your heart!
Yeah.
That would be a great movie to roast.
Yeah, I hate Temple of Doom.
Exactly! That would be such a great movie to roast!
Have you ever read that Temple of Doom is actually shot, was it before? Chronologically, it's not in the right order?
Correct. It is, technically, Is
it a prequel? To the
it's prior to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Technically, in order, it's Temple of Doom, Raiders, and then Last Crusade.
Right.
All right, David, do you have any final words about Top Gun?
Yeah, I agree with Roger Ebert that the flight scenes are the best. The rest of it is at times sometimes hard to listen to.
And they ruined it by talking.
They did, but to be honest, I like the cast more than the leads. I mean, I like Tom Cruise, I like Kelly McGillis, but I like the cast that was in the movie. I thought he was surrounded by a really good ensemble. But I actually like the ensemble in Navy SEALs just as much, if not better.
Charlie Sheen?
Well, except for him, but the Navy SEALs movie. Well, they to me that movie had a little more reverence to it, a little more respect to it. They still were arrogant guys that did a lot of stuff they probably shouldn't, but. I mean, it's a good movie, but no, this one's fantastic. It's good. I don't know. Like I said, I watch it different now, but Gracie loved it. She thought it was really good. I love the surprise death that comes into it that you don't expect. It was well made.
I mean, then again, Siskel and Ebert ranked on the Blues Brothers. They said it was a terrible movie.
Right.
And, seriously, they lambasted that movie.
Yeah, well, it's done better.
What? Yeah. Blues Brothers 2000 was a better movie? Really? Seriously?
No.
No, I mean, Blues Brothers has proved them wrong.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Dwayne, how about you? How about some parting thoughts from you?
The thing about it for me was I've always joked about the movie. And I've never watched the whole thing. So Top Gun has always been one of those movies where I would see it on TV and I would watch a little bit of it. And the whole bar scene with them singing I always thought was kind of corny. And so I just never really wanted to watch it. And so whenever we decided we were going to do it, so I watched it twice. I watched it Saturday night and I watched it this afternoon after work. So like right before we got on the podcast. Is it just me or does David look like he's having a bowel movement right now?
No, I was going to ask, so this was the first time you'd watched the whole movie?
What, David?
So this was the first time you'd actually sat and watched the whole movie?
Yes, the first time I'd actually, and I sat down with my wife and I said, have you ever seen this movie? And she said, yeah, I think I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah, she went out on a date.
Yeah. So, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to, and when I watched it the second time, I was watching it the second time to kind of, now I knew his backstory, so I had a little better understanding of why he was the Maverick, and his dad's story and stuff. And so it's a little more enjoyable even the second time when I tried to actually get into the stories of the people a little bit more. So I actually enjoyed the movie. Is it a movie I would stay on if I was switching channels? No. I don't know that I'll ever watch it again, to be honest with you. But I did enjoy it.
But it's also very dated at this point, so that's kind of tough to say.
It is,
you know?
but that's a great measuring stick. I like that. Would you keep it on that channel? Is that one of those movies that you would stick around just a little, even for a certain scene or anything? And for me, probably not either. I liked it. I agree with Dwayne. It's a great movie. It still does pretty well now. To me, it was one of those movies that made a fortune. Like, how could you not see this movie? Was what Top Gun was in '87 when I finally saw it. So
yeah.
But seeing it now, it's still good. It still holds some of it. But of course, the way I watch movies now, I want more from the non-dogfight scenes. But at the same time, as young as he was, just getting started, this was Tony Scott's third major motion picture. Only his third major, and he's gone on to make some incredible movies. Deja Vu,
monster movies.
Oh my gosh, Man on Fire, yes, great movies. So it was really good, and I agree with what y'all are saying about it. So yeah,
but it's one of those. It's a good movie. But it's also one of those iconic movies that if you haven't seen it, people look at you and go,
right.
You haven't seen this, really?
Right.
But I do agree with you, Dave, that would I stay on it? Probably not, because I've seen it 6-7 times already in the course of my life.
Yeah.
And I do want more from my movie. You know, I do want more than cliche lines and let's just ride on dripping testosterone. You know, I do want some substance. I want some, but again, Dwayne, you had said that you watched it the first time, and then the second time you watched it, you picked up on some of those nuances that added to the movie, and it definitely added to it. And another again, I'm not putting the two into the same category, but another great example of that is The Sixth Sense.
Well, you have to watch it second. You have to watch it twice.
You have to. Inception. There's another one you have to watch a second time, just to try to put everything. Yes, thank you.
One of my top 10 movies right there. I love that movie. Never change the channel on that movie. Inception. Ever. I do not change the channel.
I can't. I'll tell you. I disagree 100%. If that's on TV, change the channel. Change the channel, because I cannot watch that movie with commercial interruptions. That will drive me insane.
No, I do that with the girls will stop on any Harry Potter movie. I say, I'm like, we've got the Blu-ray right over there, right? You don't have to.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's still Harry Potter, man. Got to stop on it.
So even with Leonardo DiCaprio, you still watch Inception? See, I think he's gotten better with age. I like some of his latter movies in the last few years. I think he's done some really good movies.
I think he's done.
Why are y'all getting so off topic?
I think he's done some good stuff, but it's like again, there were so many Titanic references in this movie that I picked up on, or this movie had so many influences on Titanic, I should say.
Yeah.
That him and what was Kate Winslet, they were both really upset because they weren't up for Oscars from this movie. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't think he did anything good in that movie. He just looked like a kid from today that got stuck in a movie that was dated back in time. I don't think he did anything that warranted. I think they were 100% right not to put him up for an Oscar that year. Right. And that's why I call him Leonardo DiCaprio. But don't get me wrong. I think he is an incredible actor. Hold on. What was the Basketball Diaries? What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Mm-hmm.
Where we played the kid with special needs.
Yeah.
He was incredible. I think he has some talent. I think he's got some real talent. I don't think it comes across in a lot of his movies. He just seems like he's just a guy. Yeah. You know, he's just a guy throwing out lines.
Speaking of Oscars, the one Oscar Top Gun took home. What was that?
Oh,
soundtrack.
It's got to be music.
One song from the soundtrack.
Take My Breath Away.
Take my breath away.
Berlin.
Good.
Very nice. It wasn't going to be Kenny Loggins.
And I love the reference that Dwayne used. So when they went there, when they got to her place and he took her breath away. That's a great family-friendly way of saying what happened.
That is the way to keep it PG, my friend.
That's right.
Everybody knows exactly what you meant by that.
Yeah, that's funny about keeping it PG, because Terry walked in. Oh, you guys are going to watch it? All of a sudden, Mr. Commander of the boat that says nothing but curse words starts talking. She's like, "You're letting him watch this?" I'm like, he's not a good fit because this is not sounding PG, even though I guess it was at the time.
Oh.
But it's not. They're about one F on 3 and a 13. So anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
y'all. We're going to wrap this up. Visit our website, www.mtwdd.com. You can see our previous episodes, and for our other podcast, Survivor Talk with D&D, we have several new D&D patrons since our last Movie Talk episode. And if you'd like to support the show and enjoy a few patron perks, you can do so for as little as a couple of dollars a month. Just head to our website and scroll down. Join the Facebook group where we talk about all kinds of movies, including the newest Star Wars trailer. Facebook.com. That's right. Facebook.com/groups/MTWDD. And, of course, when you're leaving our website, head on over to Amazon and buy some Halloween stuff. So that is all we've got. Thanks again for listening, everybody. I'm Dwayne saying see you later. David?
See ya.
Dan?
I'm Dan Foley saying good night. And always a big shout-out to my buddy Philip Zurich out in Las Vegas. Because if it wasn't for him, I never would have known who the two of you guys were. He's the one that turned me on to you guys.
Thanks, Philip.
So,
thank you, Philippe.
Thank you, guys.